What would you risk if you were not living up to your potential? That was the challenge faced by my podcast guest today, Jessica Fontana. Jessica was a successful manager for Meta, but she stepped away from the corporate world to pursue her potential. Jessica is now founder of Women's Leaders Circle, a successful startup that is empowering women around the world through the power of mentoring. You will find today's episode both informative and inspiring. Let's welcome Jessica.
Welcome to Self-Leadership to Potential-ize with Andrew Bryant. We'll explore the power of potential and the promise of self-leadership. Join Andrew, a global leadership expert and author, as he shares insights, strategies, and stories spanning 25 years and 40 countries. Together, we'll unlock what makes us human, harness technology wisely, and step boldly into the future of leadership.
So, Jessica, what I want to ask you about for the book Potential-ize is your journey from saying goodbye to corporate. What were you doing before you left? And how did you say goodbye to that? And then what's this journey of entrepreneurship over the last year been? And what has that vision been to sustain you? Can I ask you that? And can you share?
Sure. Thank you, Andrew. So, I was working for the past 5 years for Meta as a business quality analyst, and I was managing a team across EMEA responsible for 13 people. And I've been through this journey of getting promoted and being responsible for their growth and managing teams. But at some point, I felt that it was not very close to my purpose, my development, my personal development that I've been doing across this year. And I felt that my intuition was telling me, okay, you already did what you want to do here. It's time to dedicate to your project, to something bigger, more aligned to my purpose. And I created Women Leaders Circle in 2023. And last year I decided, okay, this is the moment when I want to give back some more energy and to dedicate more time. And I just felt my intuition, and I step back and I say, okay, my time here it has come to a point, and I want to follow up with my project. And actually, today marks 1 year. Last year actually was my last day, and exactly on my last day of job, I received a notification from Nova University that I was accepted to the incubation journey to a project that is promoting gender equity across Europe and beyond. And I was very surprised how this is real and how beautiful it is when we follow our intuition and universe, God, or whatever, just make all the efforts to keep things happening. And in just 1 year, I'm so happy to see that things are going amazing. And I've been proving myself that I follow my purpose, and with so much dedication, with so much support from different levels and networking as well. This is very important. I've been now impacting the life of 26 women across the world. Actually, we have people from South Africa, Australia, Florida, Portugal, Italy, France, and we're getting the support from different side mentors and trainers as well. And so that's how we inspire, and we follow our instinct, and with so much dedication and commitment as well, things are possible.
Fantastic. And I'm happy to be one of the mentors for your Women Leaders Circle. So look, the question that I know people will want to ask is, you say so clearly, I followed my intuition. Now, in my book, I talk about the sense that we have potential to do something. It is an inner feeling, and that could be synonymous with intuition. Yeah. When I studied hypnosis many years ago, I remember reading a book that said, if you're going to trust your unconscious, you should put something in there in the first place. So the intuition is the brain's form of pattern recognition, whether it's recognizing potential or an alternative future. How did that manifest to you? You say, people say, I listen to my intuition. Is it a voice? Is it a feeling? Is it a picture? What was it for you?
Well, it's maybe a process as well. It's weird. It's challenging to explain a little bit. It's part of the connection and the relation we have with the self. And You, of course, like as a self-leadership, you know that listening to our own self and how we feel and checking in and develop that, it's a practice that we need to pay attention. Words nowadays is very noisy, and we get very much distracted with so much buzzy words and events, and it's very important to keep the focus on our priorities and to find moment of peace and a deep connection with ourselves, whether in practice of in nature or doing sports, but checking in on how we feel, how happy we are, how we are progressing with our growth process. And if things that are kind of ringing that something is not going well, and it's like a voice, is a feeling, it was an internal voice saying you can do more. And it's about the power that you mentioned. It's something that it's whispering, and we really need to understand what is that and trust. And it's about trust as well.
And it is trust in self, because there is a fear. I mean, most people would say, I don't know how your family handled this, but you got a good job. And it did have trajectory. I mean, you're working across Europe for Meta, which is a large organization, does have a career path. You'd already been successful as a woman. You could have, jumped sideways to another tech company. There was potential on that career path. And I don't want to get too personal, but you had to fund yourself the last year in going into a journey. A lot of people are just too terrified of the uncertainty. How did you manage that uncertainty or fear?
Well, it all started with trust in myself first, because as I am valued to bring value to business, I am also valuable and worthy to bring it for myself. And the time, and of course, like I was having a dream job when I firstly started. I started as marketing expert consultant. I've been progressing along the year. So grateful for all the learnings I had in the corporate. But when we are not so aligned with what we are as a person, as a values anymore, and lifestyle change, it takes so much courage to take that step bold and trust that you will need to figure it out, all the things. And passing from having a stable income every month from a full-time job to literally nothing. I was having some clients as a freelancer, but not enough to support me along the journey. And so the best advice that I can give also to other women and other entrepreneurs that they want to take this bold journey is to have a plan, to have a strategy, because most of the time we can also feel lonely during the process. And of course, it takes courage, it takes commitment, but also it needs a strategy. You need to have a guide. Otherwise, you will feel lost and without any money to support you. And then you need to go back to whatever job. So is everything to be planned? It's not just fantasy. Oh my God, I quit my job and now I'm a free bird. No, it takes a strategy, it takes commitment, and it takes, long-term vision as well.
Very good. So it's a year's anniversary. You've recently pitched your project at the university, and the result is, you can tell us what happened.
Well, I'm very happy to announce that we've been selected as a winner, which is great joy for us to see that hard work and recognition, it's been seen and recognized from Nova University, that for us, it's been the house of incubation of the idea and my growth as an entrepreneur. And the project, Women Leader Circle, that is now scaling and counting with the support of so many people, included you, which I'm so grateful. And it's a shared win. And because I believed in myself, I believed in my project, other people believed it and trust the mission, and it's happening, and it's a co-creation. And so it's a shared win.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about Women Leaders Circle. What is the vision, and what is the practical impact of that?
So our vision is to elevate leaders. And as the leaders, we mean women that are the pillars of our society, that we believe that increasing the level of equity in terms of leadership and entrepreneurship will lately have an impact in family, organization, and society. So we are creating an ecosystem to elevate their journey in personal development and professional development, to find a network where they can elevate their potential. We are impacting we are creating opportunity for them to develop their personal development, and it all starts with their confidence, because we can be anywhere, anytime, but we need to be first pillar as the confidence, and then able to communicate as a public speaking and as a communicating their worthy, and be leaders. First self leaders, and then leading their community, their family, the journey where they are. And so we are doing through academies, through impactful events, and we hope to do a big summit to have a global impact also in different countries through our ambassadors.
Very good. So the day-to-day of that is that women apply to the program, I'm assuming, right? And then they are assigned a mentor who are volunteers like myself. And so they get mentorship, and then they get to go through an online program which equips them with some of the practical leadership skills, starting with confidence and self-leadership, and then a celebration and a networking from that. Is there anything else? Am I missing anything?
Yeah, we have also peer mentoring. So beside all the session with mentors and the training that is 10 weeks online session, we are having also online networking events where they can connect beside the group session. They can actually, yesterday we just had the networking event, and we find job opportunity from one woman from Florida that is moving to Pico in Azores here in Portugal, and one woman from the circle will be working for her in terms of developing the tourism strategy for her in the real estate. So it's potential-ize, it's leverage the opportunity between the circle and to helping each other really achieving a deep level of networking. And so the peer mentoring and the networking between them, it's the highest power.
It is. And I can imagine that as you scale that will be a tremendous resource. So what's this going to look like 5 years from now?
Well, for sure, impacting even more women than we are run. We just started. And so the path is to scale and achieve equity in the long term. But we are conscious that for that, we will take more time. And so how to get there? We will scale and impact more women, collaborating with more mentors. So if any mentors listening around here and wants to join, we're going to have the second edition in October. So we want to have at least the double or even more of the participant and mentors. And yeah, we are needing to scale. And my wish is to create, and I'm manifesting and planning for 5 years ahead to have a women's summit, which will host and have many participants and speakers. So these things. And one thing that is very important to me is that, and we are here, it's not for women, it's made for the purpose of equity, but men, organization, companies, everybody is part of the solution, and we are up for equity and not for feminist or just for women. This has to be very crystal clear.
Sure. And as I shared with you before we pressed record, that in 2015, as a professional speaker, I took a pledge to never appear on an all-male panel. And I recently just got back from Sri Lanka, where I refused to sit at a top table with all men. And I did sit on a panel with a woman, and also advocated for the fact that gender equality or preventing any sexual harassment was an issue for the men as much as it was for the women. And that we all need to make a stand that this is just not okay. So well done for that. And I agree that smart men know that gender equality is better for all of us.
Yes. And then it's proven. It's a McKinsey study saying that investing 10% in gender equity increased the EBIT of 3.5%. So it has also financial growth, and it's not just philosophy, let's say. So
no, I agree. I mean, I've read that study, and it's absolutely true. So let's just talk about the function of mentoring. Mentoring has been around forever. Alexander the Great had Aristotle as a mentor. You've chosen mentoring as sort of the primary vehicle for the transformation of these women. Tell us, how did you come to that? Were you mentored? Was there something that special happened for you? What does mentoring mean to you? How do you see it working? What do we need to pay attention to
Yeah.
with this? It's a word that gets used, but I think it's a word that needs to be expanded.
It's a great question, and it's important to discuss about it. First of all, we did the survey validation. So we listen actually the needs of the women of the community, and we got plus 145 answers acknowledging the needs of a personalized growth. So it's a recognition of the needs from the community, so from others. And that's why we tailored the program based on the needs of the community. In my personal opinion, mentoring for me, it's been both way. I've been mentored and I've been mentored. And so I actually started being a mentor, and actually it's where all started, being a mentor of women in Mozambique for a project that is very close to my heart, that is Girl Move. And on the sharing of my journey, I realized that I have the power to guide others through sharing stories, to inspire others from guidance and things that have been working for me or not working for me, and avoiding that other people pass through that as well, because it's all not always very rose and flowers. And sometimes also learning from other pain, from other stories, is very inspiring. And so, having known that, mentoring for me has been a key pillars for my own personal growth and for the launch of this program. Honestly, I cannot count how many mentors I had during this journey that really shaped the person I am today and the steps that I did with the project. I have to mention three of them that really been very committed, and it's a shared journey. You are committed, and most of the nowadays, most of the people feel lonely into creating business, into going through challenge or in career transition, and being having a mentor is something that really shape. And it's I like to use for mentoring this metaphor that is like lighthouse. So if you're going through a storm or something, it's gonna be someone that will show you the light and which is the right direction and where is the safe point in a way. So it's direction, is support, is light, it's going and showing, also putting the lights on the things that we all have of good. So it's already potential.
Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. So when did you get a sense of your own potential? Right? I daren't ask how old you are, but you've been around long enough, right? Did you get a sense of potential at school, as a young person, or early in the work? When did you feel your potential?
Well, it's first 10 the first word that crossed to my mind, it was after actually I passed through a moment of deep depression. That was back in 2020. But then I was coming back to seeing myself as a young children, and there was so much potential there, always being very creative and very independent. And there's this beautiful story of my parents that they said that I was perhaps 2 or 3 years old, and I was waking up literally in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and alone in the darkness. And, having this sense of independence is always been something that has that whisper, that intuition, it's been there, and something that I cannot explain. But yeah, I don't know if I replied to your question. It's been there, and it's when I realized my power perhaps more clearly, it's been in the latest year when I really listen to that intuition and put in action, and it's keeping proving me that when I listen to that, things are happening. And so it's keeping confirming that there's power in there.
Awesome. Awesome. Now you have been, in the corporate as a team leader, as a manager, as a leader. How did you look at potential within your own team, both in hiring and in developing? Did you have a framework for looking for potential, or were you just doing the behavioral-based interviewing for performance? I needed somebody to do this. They've proved this, therefore fit square peg in square hole, right? Did you have that filter for potential? And if so, how did you identify it?
It's nice because I'm very intuitive and energetic, and I like to use, I'm very empathetic. So what I'm looking for is someone that also has the capacity to see how to be vulnerable and leverage that vulnerability through emotional intelligence. And nowadays we have AI that it's like deciding for who is good or who is not, who is taken for a job. And I think something that I always been valuing the most, it's empathy in people and recognizing that. So hire someone that will be also valuable and committed to the job, but also have some intelligence, emotional intelligence to be good in as a team member. And in an environment where diversity was a key core, leverage that. So appreciating the added value that a diverse culture, a diverse background can bring in will be something that will call my attention.
Okay.
Besides all the framework, but I personally pay more attention to that.
No, I understand. I mean, everybody can put on their best face for an interview, right? How do you test for emotional intelligence?
Mm-hmm. Telling stories and see if that story, like beside telling I'm good and this and that, and like real examples, like going deeper into example of practical things or like testing more in practical.
Okay. Well, I'm starting to feel good now because you selected me for your team. So I'm like, oh, gee, I passed the test. Kyle, what did I do right? Okay, very good. I'm feeling.
You hired.
I'm feeling. You're hired. Yeah, I mean, yeah, not a big paycheck, but I'm hired nevertheless, right? So it's nice. So I got hired in terms of validation. All right, very good. Okay, well, this has been very useful, but I always think that when you interview somebody, or when I know when I've been interviewed, I sometimes come away and think I didn't talk about the thing that I should have talked about. So this question is, right, you've potentially been interviewed before. I've interviewed you now. What was the question I should have asked you, but I didn't ask you?
Perhaps inspiration for the future, or yeah.
Okay. So yeah, well, I mean, I said where do you see this in 5 years? But what are your aspirations? Absolutely, let's frame that a slightly different way. Yeah, long time. 5 years wasn't enough. 5 years wasn't enough. Oh, aspirations for the future. Absolutely. Let's take it away, Jessica.
Well, it's something I wish to really create something bigger, whether it's with Women Leaders Circle, with other organization and projects. I believe there's so much potential into putting the efforts of collectivity for a better health and creating something that is making people feel really happy, but us for real, in the genuine things, in the more basic things. And so creating an organization or something that will really put together that there is something bigger. And yeah.
Good. Well, I know that you will achieve it based on my short time of interacting with you. I know that you have that tenacity to make that happen and that empathy to bring people to your cause. And I think that is not to be underestimated. The concept of leadership was beautifully articulated with the concept of the first follower. And there's the video of the man dancing on the side of a hill at a concert by himself. Yes. And then eventually somebody joins him, and then there's a crowd. And that is the vision I get for you, that you might have been weirdly dancing on the side of a hill, but you've already got people following you. And I'm just reading a book called It's Not How, It's Who. And it's, how do we find the people that make us, or enable us to achieve our objectives? It's often finding the right people. And you clearly have a talent for that, so I know you will achieve it. You're Italian by birth, living in Portugal. So, what are the geographic ramifications of this? I mean, you say you had a project in Mozambique. Where does the frame of geography fit in? You said this is for Europe, but you're mentoring women from South Africa, from Mozambique. So, what is the geography of this? Is it global or is it focused on Europe first?
It's global, yes. It's all starts, let's say, the key closest to my heart, the territory in which I was mainly focused, and then I'm surprised by the technology, and nowadays we can really connect all over. So I started in Portugal and closely supporting this community in Mozambique. And then through connection, through ambassadors and from Italy, surprisingly starting having more women coming from Italy. And then it's just the ripple effect that when you start and then it's going all over, and then I'm receiving people even without promoting any ads or anything. It just starts like by supporting from the community. And right now we have women from Australia, from Florida, from Mozambique, South Africa, France, Italy, and many has to come, like actively. So the project was 3 countries, and then it's just expanding beautifully. So the sky's the limit, I guess.
Well, after having just come back from Sri Lanka and it felt like half the population of Sri Lanka wanting to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm sure you'll get some inquiries from there as well. Thank you, Jessica, so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on Self-Leadership to Potential-ize with Andrew Bryant. If you're ready to be the driver of your life and not the passenger, keep exploring with us. Get your copy of Potential-ize wherever good books are sold. For more resources or to book Andrew for coaching and speaking engagements, visit selfleadership.com. Until next time, think smart, lead better, and always potentialize your future.